How's it going, guys? Welcome back for another Canon release. This right here is the 100 stacker left shooter, and let's just dig straight into it. Today I'm going to show you an alternative way how to rate this without revving up. As I probably mentioned, or as I probably said in the other video, that the method that was used then was from far distance. Now if you want to do it with a closer distance, which I assume some of you do, then this method here is for you. So before we continue, I quickly want to say that after everything I do, after everything I show you something, I always change the Canon back to what is on the schematic, so whenever you are just skipping in the video, you'll be able to know exactly what to do. So we're going to start off with what we always do, and that is canoning into the first wall, which is located right here. The way to do that is actually pretty simple. What you need to do is put this on 0, put this on 0, as well on the other side, this one here and this one right there. Keep in mind that the slap bus and hammer is in one right here, as you can see there. After that, all you need to do is disable the entire left shooter, and that is done right there, and then this redstone down there. Then the last thing we got to do is you need to go into the barrel and quickly change the slap out with a full block. And I'm quickly going to take another block just to show you. So right here. And that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and fire this cannon here, and let's see the first wall right here going into the wall. And from there we can start shooting a few more times, because we do actually need to get further into the wall. Now I'll be using a /fire command. That is not something that will be found on factions, but it's pretty much just pressing the button for me without having to actually be there, which is awesome. So now if we wait here in a second, you can see how we go into the wall. We can go further and further and further. I'm pretty sure that you might have some corners that you are going for, so you know exactly what to shoot for inside the base. But right now, I'm just pretty much going, let's just go like halfway, and then from there we can continue. So I'm pretty much halfway in right now, and now it's ready to pretty much left shoot, because what we're going to do now is set up a backboard already now. So if you go stand inside the barrel right here and you go forward, what you have to hit is completely flat. So this right here is going to be the pieces of TNT that will come out of the cannon. Now everything is not inside one block. This is not a fusion, so you need to make sure that there's at least 2 blocks right here from the barrel now that is completely flat. You can use the Y coordinates right up there to help you out if you're having issues with that. So if you turn everything back what this is on the schematic, it should be pretty much ready to left shoot. So let's go ahead and watch this. The left shoot part should be coming in right now, and as you can see right there, the scatter is very delayed, and that is actually on purpose, because right now you can see that we have a water right here, which is awesome. So what we need to do now is turn this bad boy right here back to just normal shooting and just start single stacking all the way up till we get to a point where this right here is completely watered. So to do that, you need to disable the hammer, which is located right there, and here this is disable the slap bust as well. Now take off the left shoot with here and there, and the last thing you're going to do is take off the scatter, which is located right here. Just quickly go ahead and take that redstone out, and whatever is on right now is pretty much only sand. So when you fire, it should only stack 1 or 2 sand max, and we need to do this for quite a while, because we do need to go quite far with this right here. So as you can see right now, we need to single stack quite a lot, and we have to single stack all the way up to this one right here. So at that point, you're going to be able to see that the entire backboard here is completely watered. So if you were to single stack, you would see how this right here will be done like this, and then you'll have to shoot quite a few times. I'm gonna agree with you, but go ahead and stack it up like that, single stack all the way. I'm cheated a little bit right here, but you would have to shoot every single shot by yourself. Once you've done that, you can see how we now have a sand that is completely watercolored, which allows us now to actually left shoot. So now that we have a backboard fully watered over there, it's now ready to go ahead and left shoot. To go ahead and turn this cannon back to what is on the schematic. Once you've done that, we are pretty much ready to left shoot. Once you've done that, you should see the shots be coming in and go to the other side right here. So now we are pretty much having a left shooter, which is awesome. So if I had enough sand, that would be great. So we should be seeing that it's going to hit off right here and start left shooting into these walls. The first shot should be coming in right now, which is perfect. So you can continue quite far with this left shooter here without actually having to change anything. Now, if you find yourself in a situation where it doesn't really want to stack, the problem is most likely that you need to add a tick to your hammer. Now, you should only be able to see this maybe after 10 chunks of left shooting, which is not really that bad. So once you've done all of this right here, it should be working completely fine. But if it doesn't and you are left shooting over 10 chunks, you should be able to go ahead and add a tick to the hammer, and you should be just fine. So as you can see, I'm pretty much on our last wall right now, or close to at least. So as you can see, it worked out perfectly. So as I promised you, I'm going to try my best to explain how left shooting works. Now, in this case right here, I have disabled the slap burst, the scatter, and the one-shot sand. You're just gonna look at it as the slap burst following the sand, the scatter and one-shot sand following the hammer. We're not gonna take those part of it right now, and as you can see, I'm in paint right now because I think that's a little bit easier to show you. But we are focusing on 3 or 4 things. We're gonna focus on the hammer, the sand, the splitter, and the left TNT. Now, I explained already where the splitter is, and I explained you where the left TNT is, so that shouldn't really be an issue for you guys. But let's go ahead and move all of these things to the wall. This is pretty much what it's going to look like. So the left TNT is the one up there, which is right next to the hammer. Then we have the sand, and of course we have the splitter, which is this one that's blinking there. So the first thing you're going to see that blows up is going to be the splitter, and because we have something called order of entities, we allow the splitter to be loaded before the sand does. So as long as the sand is not coming first, you're pretty much good to go. So because the splitter is loading before the sand, what you're going to see is that the splitter is going to just dip a tiny bit. And it does that because it's loaded first, which means that essentially Minecraft is loading like entities after its turn. So it's going to say, oh, okay, what did you tick off first? Okay, you ticked off the splitter first. So that way you're going to see the splitter being loaded first at the wall, and therefore it allows it to dip just that tiny bit that we need. So what is going to happen now is pretty much that the splitter is going to blow up, which is this one down there, and what it's going to do is that it's going to move the sand and the hammer up a tiny bit. So it's going to be moved up a little bit like this. But we have a problem right here because the sand is extremely close to what blew up, which is the splitter. So the sand is automatically going to blow up, or actually go up a little bit more than the hammer is. So it's going to be looking almost in the same Y level, but not exactly in the same Y level, because it is actually dipping just a little bit more. Now the left TNT right here is also affected by the splitter, this one here, this is the splitter. So it's also affected, so it also goes up a little bit. So once it's up here, and it's actually pretty much aligned with the hammer, then we can go ahead and get rid of the splitter, because that's moved all of the things right now. We have the sand right here, we have the hammer right here, and then we have the left TNT right there. So what is going to happen now, and the next thing that's going to blow up, is going to be the left TNT. Now in this case right here, as you can see, the sand is just a tiny bit under the hammer. So because of this, whenever you start shooting things, so the hammer right here will pretty much go to the wall and just slide up a little bit. There we go. And then we have the sand, which is pretty much what's underneath the hammer, but pretty much in the same block. But because it's underneath the hammer, it's actually going to dip a little bit right here, and the hammer is going to be shot up a little bit. Just to think about it like an anti-gravity, where as soon as it hits the walls, it flies up a little bit. It's pretty much the same concept right here, but because we had the sand inside the TNT, but the sand was kind of below it, it kind of splits up. So now while this one right here blows up, it is kind of giving velocity both to the hammer and the sand, but because it's not in the same block, it's going to split it apart, because if it's not in the same block, it's not going to move in the same direction or at the same line. So this is what you're going to see at the wall now, and this is the perfect condition that you need for something to stack. You're going to have the hammer at the top, you're going to have the sand at the bottom. So what is going to happen is that it's quickly going to stack all the sand all the way down. So that's pretty much how that works. So let's go ahead and explain a little bit more about why we only have 15 TNT in the left shoot TNT right here. Why not just have like 50 or maybe 100? Would it not be able to shoot further by doing that? But no, it wouldn't. 15 TNT is exactly enough for the hammer to get the exact height that it needs, as well as the sand to get the exact height that needs. If we go ahead and change that ratio and go ahead and take maybe 20 left TNT, then the hammer would not really be at the height that we want it to be at, and the same with the sand is not really going to be at the height that we want. Now this right here is also something close to the splitter that we will have right here, because that was the first thing that blew up. The splitter only has 2 pieces of TNT because we don't really want it to move that far up. We don't really want the sand and the hammer to be moved extremely far up. I see I fucked that one up. So we want it to just blow the splitter, the splitter to just blow it far enough off that the sand is going kind of inside the hammer. But we don't want it to, we don't want to add too much splitter, because if we add too much splitter, what's going to happen is that the hammer and the sand just flies away and ends up, God's where no. So that's not really what we want. But by having 2 pieces of TNT, we actually allows the sand to just reach right underneath this hammer. It's the perfect amount of TNT that you need for this to work. And then, therefore, if we go to the wall and the left TNT right here will then split it up, because as you can see, and this is not at the same, it's the right height, because as you can see, it is somewhat not next into each other. So what you're going to see is the sand right here is going to get a downward velocity more than the hammer would, and therefore it's starting splitting up. The sand goes a little bit down, while the hammer right here is going to the wall and sliding up a tiny bit. And that's the perfect condition that we need for left shooting to work. And that's that's pretty much it. But that is pretty much it for this video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, remember to like this video here and comment down below if you actually understood what I was doing with explaining the left shoot. But most of all, guys, make sure to check out my Discord giveaway. I've given away over 150 things like ranks, spycraft, vouchers, and so on and so on. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. My name is Dexter, and I'm out.